Hey everybody, it's your friend and your guy with garbage opinions, Gardiner. So last week I made a video on Sunday where I talked about the week in review. If you're not familiar, I started a website called The Bryant Review, and it's become like my favorite thing that I've ever done. Last week I talked about some of the things that we touched on the review. We had several articles last week, and this week was the same. We had a bunch of articles, and where last week I kind of loosely went off of my newsletter that I sent out and I read it as a script, people seem to actually resonate more when I'm just talking off the cuff. So I'm going to reference my newsletter, but I'm not going to read it as a script, and we'll see how you guys feel about that. But there was actually like some really great feedback from last week's video, and I wanted to do the same thing this week. So without further ado, let's talk about a flipping awesome week. I think the hero image of the article kind of infers what's going on here. So this was a very busy week for me. I was out 4 days last week on location doing things with clients. I didn't write a lot, but I did get an article out. But before I get into the articles that we covered, I want to talk about a huge content drop that happened this week. Now, this is probably less relevant to my YouTube viewers because I don't really talk about what I do professionally on here very often, but I am a producer. Like, I make video content for local businesses. I go around producing podcasts. I go around making TV ads, digital ads in video format. And one thing that came out this week that I'm really excited about is an interview with the CEO of Saddleback Mountain. Saddleback Mountain was rated #1 on the East Coast, like ski resort, ski destination. And we got to interview the CEO and the general manager. Now, I'm not on camera, I'm behind the camera, but if you want to check that out, it's a podcast called Maine Famous. And if you've ever lived in Maine, if you've ever visited Maine, if you've ever thought about vacationing in Maine, this might be something interesting for you to check out. It was really fun. There are 9 more episodes after this that will last through probably, I think, through February. We're really excited about this. This is like one of the coolest things I've ever done in my professional career. And so being able to just kind of promote Maine, where I live, the place that I love, is kind of a dream come true for me. So if you have any interest in ski resorts or Maine based content, you can head over there and subscribe to the channel. So let's talk about like the things that I've actually changed with the website over the last week, because the week before I changed a whole bunch of things. This time it was lighter updates that I could just do in the evening while I was relaxing, rather than sitting here having to do a lot of coding. So this week saw just a minor bug fix to FediShare, which is the open source Fediverse share button utility that I created. It got a little bit of attention on GitHub, which I thought was pretty neat. But I fixed an issue in the way I was calling the modal box pop-up. But I actually need some help. I have been trying to set up ActivityPub integration with the Bryant Review for a week, and I don't understand why it's not working. If you are familiar at all with Apache, I need your help. This is what the relevant reverse proxy setup looks like. These endpoints here need to be forwarded to or proxied from ap.ghost.org. I don't quite understand what's happening. I don't know why it's not working. I suspected it was something with like WAF on Cloudflare, but that doesn't seem to be the problem because I actually disabled Cloudflare to see if that was it, and it doesn't seem to be the case. So what ends up happening is when I try to visit the Ghost backend, I see this, and if I look in the logs, it says SSL proxy requested for GardinerBryant.com, but not enabled. But it is enabled. As far as I can tell, SSL proxy engine is on. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. If you have any ideas, let me know. I also found this thread here, and as well as this thread here, which I tried to port this Nginx configuration over from into Apache, and it looks like I'm still missing something. And you're probably saying, well, why don't you just use Nginx? For legacy reasons, I can't use Nginx on this server. So yeah, it's annoying. Anyway, I would appreciate some help if anybody knows Apache. There's also a Discord server that you could join where we've been trying to debug it in the tech support thread, or the tech support channel. Let's actually talk about the articles for this week, because we had a few. First up, the Anbernic RGDS review by Dash. Now, Dash is an amazing writer. Like, I can't tell you how much I appreciate their input, their writing, how thorough they are with their reviews, because look at this. I mean, not only do they go into all the details here about the handheld itself, but also like very thorough testing, tons of great photographs, and you can also see like talking a little bit of like retrospective on why we need the RGDS here, because the current state of most of this DS hardware is pretty poor. I mean, even my 3DS is in pretty bad shape. It's not to mention dusty, but like, you know, you close the screen and the bezel here on the bottom digs into the top screen. It's ridiculous. At least the screens still work, but there's like this, like, I don't know, it's like when you scratch the top, I think the plastic is like melting or something, or liquefying. It's very gross. But also Dash goes into a ton of information on like emulation on this handheld, not just of DS games, but also I believe PSP games, PS1. Yeah, PSP games run pretty well. So yeah, let me tell you, I'm quite impressed. Every time Dash does a hardware review, I just get more and more impressed. They're thorough, they're fascinating, and just all around, it's super cool to see. And I'm honored to have these on the site, because it's next level journalism as far as I'm concerned. Then my friend High Tech Low Life from my podcast, you can check that out up here, wrote up an article about why you need Valve's endgame controller. This is a deep dive into the new Steam controller, talking about all the features, the TMR joysticks, the dual trackpads, and all the various ways that this controller enables PC play in the 10-foot experience. 10-foot experience meaning PC games in your living room, right? You don't need something like this anymore. You'll be able to play your PC games out on the sofa. That's really exciting. Even though the Steam controller is like one of the devices I'm most excited about with the Steam hardware announcement from last month, High Tech saw a gap in my coverage and really dove deep into this. So it's great to have here on the site. Then on Wednesday, I posted an article called Graze, a better way to discover the Fediverse. And guys, if you have not seen Graze for Mastodon, it's a browser extension and it is awesome. You can see if I refresh the page, and I start to scroll down, yeah, there you go. So there's Dash. So what's really cool is it's showing me my subscriber status, my follower status on for Dash's profile. And it radically simplifies following on the Fediverse. It is so nice. It is so good. And this is the kind of thing that we need. It also shows you like, you know, Dash has 2,500 posts, at 46, they're following 46 people, and they have 960 posts. I'm not sure what the difference between those two are, honestly. Anyway, so yeah, this is really neat, and having access to this on your site, I mean, that's super cool. And it's driven by the Meta Fediverse creator property tag in the header DOM element. I'll show you what that looks like. If I go here, head. So this is driven by this tag here. So Fediverse creator at follow White Rabbit at mastodon.social. And if I go to like one of my articles, if I click Graze, you can see right here, Fediverse creator Gardiner Bryant at Mastodon.online. So that's really cool. So it lets you subscribe or follow, whatever, someone, wherever they are. If we scroll down, at some point it should show up with my account, unless it's filtering out mine, which it might. But it's also really neat because you can see here in the screenshot that, you know, this is Blue Sky, right? This is a screenshot of Blue Sky where I was like, hey guys, you should follow me on the Fediverse at Off the Console Show at podcast.subscribe2.me. This app will upgrade any handles into actual links, and then it will provide you with a popover of the handle. So you hover over it, and then suddenly, boom, look at that. Now I can follow like random handles I encounter on the web. And you know, Off the Console Show at podcast.subscribe2.me is not a Mastodon instance. You know, it's an ActivityPub compatible service called Castopod. But because this is here, I'm able to just subscribe, which is super nifty. It's so nice. And if we keep scrolling down, there's more, because you get it. This will give you popovers on Mastodon. It'll give you popovers for Mastodon @ tags, but it'll also give you popovers for hashtags, and it will allow you to silence hashtags or mute them or whatever, and also follow them. There's a ton of really cool stuff, and you can even like undo the design of the link previews on Mastodon and have them be a little more informative and less clickbaity, if that's your speed. But I have noticed that it kind of breaks things from time to time. So in last week's Week in Review, this guy, the Herald here, asked how he could put this on his website. And I was like, bro, I literally don't know what that is. And he was like, oh, it's this plugin called Graze. But yeah, this is a really cool thing. If you want to learn more about it, you can check out my website. I did an article about it. Every article is going to be linked below, including the Week in Review article that this video is like loosely based on. I am a huge Fediverse fan, if you didn't know. So after that, there's also the Miyoo Mini Flip review. And this was also a Dash special. Look at this. It's very clearly inspired by the Game Boy Advance SP, but it has 2 extra face buttons, 2 extra shoulder buttons. It's charged with a USB-C. It has a micro SD card slot. It comes with a few little accessories. And this is not an Android-powered device. There are these custom operating systems that are created by the community, which is super cool. This feels like a device with more of a cult following than something like the Retroid Pocket or something like that. Again, great article. If you're interested in checking this out, you can head over to the links in the description. And proud of Dash. This is great. Then Dash, pulling all the weight this week. Honestly, Dash, thank you. Published an interview with the developer of GameSieve. Now, if you're not familiar, GameSieve is a website that allows people to filter through the GOG collection, basically. And GOG is one of my favorite places to buy games because they have DRM-free games, and that to me is indispensable. Like, you know, if we're going in a digital direction with our game purchases, then, you know, you don't actually own the game unless it's DRM free. If you buy a game through like Steam and it has DRM, well, then you don't actually own the game. You're just paying to rent the game, and that sucks. This is why GOG is so important, guys. And GameSieve, I had never heard of GameSieve until Dash told me about it. And like, man, not only are Dash's questions here terrific, but GameSieve's answers are very thoughtful. They're well written, and I'm just appreciative of these style articles here. Also, I think this just looks really nice, especially in light mode. In dark mode, it looks good. I think it looks absolutely mint in light mode. Super easy to read. And I'm tooting my own horn here because, you know, I'm a designer by trade, but like, yeah, there's a light and a dark mode. If you aren't a member of the site, then it'll just default to whatever your system setting is. So if you have like a dark system setting in GNOME or KDE, then it'll default to dark. But if you're a member of the site, you'll actually be able to toggle back and forth. And I love the way Dash actually describes GameSieve. GameSieve acts as a powerful lens over GOG's site, a way to search, sort, filter, and compare the entire catalog with far more flexibility than the official storefront allows. It brings together full text search, smarter groupings of editions and expansions, deep filtering options, and detailed price history tracking, all designed to help you surface games you might otherwise miss or spot whether that deal is actually a good one. So if you're a fan of like DRM-free games, if you want to make informed purchasing decisions for your GOG collection, or you like learning about how websites are built or how searching is kind of a struggle to find the right balance of weights and different things like that, check out this article. I thought it was a fascinating read. And that's it for the roundup this week. We had 5 articles totaling 16,933 words. And, you know, I just like these fun little metrics. If you are a member, you can actually head over to the article and you'll be able to see what I'm blurring out on screen right now. I share the analytics for the week on the site, and it's exclusive for members. So yeah, you can head over there, check that out. And I want to thank you to everyone who signed up for the site this week, because this kind of content isn't possible without people like you reading it. And we've had many people reading it this month, so thank you. Thank you truly. All right, I think that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for reading. Use the links below. Make sure you get subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.